The question here is, under which conditions is good art made? Well, in this book, Slapstick, the brilliant author Kurt Vonnegut writes the following. History is merely a list of surprises. It can only prepare us to be surprised yet again. Please write that down. So, if we look at history for the last, say, 120 years, there's been a couple of crises. For example, we can talk about the 1907 bank panic, the Wall Street crash of 29, followed by the Great Depression, of course. We could talk about World War I, World War II, that's the business, both of them. The banking crisis of the UK, the Black Monday of 87, crisis in India, Sweden, Finland, 94 in Mexico. That's when we had the Olympics in Lillehammer. Wonder how much that cost. What? Russia in 98, the energy crisis of the 2000s. There's a backside. The housing bubble in the US, the Icelandic bankrupt, Irish bank crisis, the auto industry collapse of 2008. 2008 was a really bad year. Or we could talk about the European crisis, which is ongoing. In all of these, art has been and is suffering through means of financial cutbacks, which, and let me say this straight ahead, we always should fight with all our might, no matter what, crisis or no crisis. Well, back to history. And just so you know, I am reading from a script. The question I began this little outburst of mine with is, in the context of a crisis, a romantic one. It feeds on the romantic picture of the starving artist. So, if that is true, then art, I guess, should be considerably better in these times. So, let's check. Well, you will find good art in these periods of time and in the relevant countries, but you will also find not so good art, irrelevant art, indifferent art, boring art, and every other kind of art you can really think of. So, trying to find correlation between good art and a crisis, the answer will be both yes and no. Let us not feed the myth that gives people a bad reason to make artists' lives even more difficult than they already are. Well, you artists should be glad that your funding is cut, making it harder to live day to day. That's when the best art is made, isn't it? Fuck you. First of all, you can't make good art while working at McDonald's trying to pay your bills. Second of all, there is always a good subject matter in the world, also in a crisis, but not only in a crisis. Third of all, if anything, art should get even more funding in times of crisis because art is a good arena for making change, proposing change, and experimenting with change. What am I trying to say again? Well, I guess make relevant art, have an open mind, help your fellow artists, and make love, not war. No, forget that last part. Make war, but with art and against the right people. Please write that down.